Today I'm excited to introduce Coach Mark Madsen as our 19th head coach of our Cal men's basketball program. Mark, welcome to the family. We're excited to have you, and go Bears. If I could, Carol, if you would come up. Carol, can I just get a picture? And if you don't mind, I'd like to give you one other uniform so that you can put this to use really quickly. So,
I love that. Thank
Mark,
you.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to start off by just saying thank you, Chancellor, to yourself, and Jim, to you, for the belief and for the opportunity to lead Cal men's basketball. I could not be more excited to be here today. Memories from this gym. The last time I was in this gym, I was coaching at Stanford and an altercation broke out. I ran onto the court to try to break it up. I ended up getting suspended. The time before that, it was an absolute battle, and I was actually a player on the court. It is an honor to be here today. I grew up about 20 miles away in Danville, and I played at Santa Ramon High School for kind of an East Bay legend, John Rayner. I have memories of going throughout this whole area, and Leon knows all the high schools out here. I've had battles at Reardon, at De La Salle, Midi, and so it's very exciting for me to come back. Hannah was dying to be here. Even after she had the baby, she was trying to find a way to come, and I said, hey, you need to recover right now. But she sends her love and her excitement to the Cal community. My sister, growing up, she used to always try to make her way over to Berkeley, and she would come home oftentimes with a couple slices of Zachary's pizza. I'm the fifth of 10 kids, and I have to say there were plenty of fights as far as who was going to get those slices of pizza. I want to turn the clock back to 1992. I was a young player in high school trying to find my way. I'd never played a minute of varsity basketball. And so John Rayner, my head coach, he kind of entrusted me to his assistant, Jim Behrens, who played here under Pete Newell in the program. And so somehow Jim was able to get me on an official visit to Cal. It was my first visit as a recruited athlete. And went over to Harmon Gym, and I watched Jason Kidd practice. Lamont Murray was on the team. Monty Buckley was on the team. I was blown away at the talent level of the basketball team. I was in heaven. Lou Campanelli was the coach, went to his office. I'd barely played any high school basketball, but they treated me incredibly well. Then they took me to the football game. Blown away at the stadium, the views, the football team itself, and I was just enjoying myself. And then at some point, somebody walked up the stairs and was walking across the aisleway, and the entire crowd just started yelling at this person. And the chant was simple: take off that red shirt. Later, there was a coaching change, and my recruitment dropped off, as sometimes happens in the recruiting process. But that was my first introduction to Cal. Well, that team continued to do so well. They ended up making the Sweet 16, losing to Kansas. But that team caught almost my entire high school as fans. A couple years later, in 1994, they won 20 games. And it seemed like every girl in my high school was in love with Randy Duck. Lamont Murray came over to our high school to judge the dunk contest. I was surrounded in a lot of ways by Cal graduates and people affiliated with Cal. As a senior, I needed an economics class to graduate. And so I signed up for the 8 o'clock class. Our teacher was there every morning. She loved the material. She loved the students. She loved economics. Jackie Bowman, class of '86, softball, Cal. When it came time for me to choose a major in college, I chose economics, in large part because of her passion for the material. The first time I played here at Cal, I had to guard Tony Gonzalez. Leon, you were a banger. Tony Gonzalez punished people out there. I left the game with bruises. I left the game beat up. Over the years, Mike Montgomery, we'd play Cal, Mike Montgomery would yell at me, keep Tony off the glass, keep Sean Lampley off the glass. We had some epic battles, but it was so much fun. The history of Cal basketball is winning, and winning at a high, high level. Obviously, the national championship, multiple Sweet 16s, repeated NCAA tournaments. I'm going to do everything in my power, and we will restore Cal basketball to that level of play. We will recruit and develop great players. Players like Leon Poe, players like Jaylen Brown, Kevin Johnson, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, Jerome Randall, Sean Marks, and the list goes on. The plan for success. We will focus on several pillars and make that our hallmark. To begin with, recruiting. I want to put up a chain link fence around the state of California and keep the best California players at Cal. We will be aggressive in the transfer portal. When players enter that portal that are great basketball players and great students, we're going to be all over them. We are going to be all over them, and we are going to bring them here to Cal. We will recruit nationally and internationally and have great success doing that. Player development. Player development will be a hallmark of what we do here. I want to go back in time and talk a little bit about player development at the professional level. Phil Jackson, one of my mentors, I talked to Phil last week. When I got to the Lakers, he talked about the 4 pivots that were necessary to run the triangle offense. The outside turn, the inside turn, inside reverse pivot, outside reverse pivot. And he always talked about the 4 pivots. Any player that has played for Phil Jackson knows about the 4 pivots. Well, Kobe took the 4 pivots to the highest level. He would get to practice at times, hours before practice started, and work on the 4 pivots, from left block, left elbow, right block. And he mastered the pivots. And by having tremendous footwork, it allowed him to rise up over defenders. And while they were stuck on the ground because of great footwork, he was elevating over the top. His legacy of hard work will always be in my mind. And we will bring that same element of hard work, dedication, and player development to Cal and focus heavily on that. Style of play. I want to play fast. I want to play up tempo. I want to play a style of play that will focus on the strengths, the unique strengths of every player we have in the program. Player development off the court. Here at Cal, we are surrounded by resources, amazing academic resources. The Cameron Institute, which will embrace our student athletes as a freshman and help them all the way through until they graduate and even after. We're going to do everything we can to create a family atmosphere with our players. The players at Cal, I'm going to try to treat like my own children, which I think is hugely important to create that atmosphere. Preparation. There's an old saying, hard work doesn't guarantee you anything, but without it, you don't stand a chance. No one will outwork our staff or our players. Our staff will be world class. I'm in the midst of finalizing key staff members, and we will update you as we have more to announce there. NIL. I believe that Cal, in some ways, is already on its pathway to becoming a national leader in NIL, in accordance with all NCAA rules and in accordance with all the mandates and statutes set out by Congress. I'm incredibly excited and encouraged by NIL. But I want to point out, name, image, and likeness is not pay to play. It is absolutely not pay to play. And in speaking with some of the leadership of the collective here, I'm incredibly impressed because they're talking about all the things that the athletes can do beyond the court, getting out in the community, giving of themselves in other ways to help youth. And that is part of the shared vision that gets me excited to be here at Cal. Admissions. Cal is the best public education in the world. In the world. And this, we need to cast a broad net. I don't want a player, a prospective student athlete to be penalized because maybe his high school doesn't offer, enough AP courses. And in talking with university leadership, I'm extremely encouraged at the case-by-case basis at which admissions will look at each student athlete. I think that's a sign of a great institution. Past players and coaches. I've been mentored by great coaches and great players, and I stay in touch with them, and they're my friends. And I will draw on each of them as we embark on this journey together. There's absolutely no reason why Cal basketball cannot be restored to the rich tradition that has been such a part of this university and this athletic department. But it's going to be a team effort. It's going to be collaborative. We're going to work together. It's going to involve admissions, leadership, alums, donors, boosters, and we're going to do it together. I have a vision in the not too distant future of hanging banners here in Haas Pavilion. I have a vision in the not too distant future of traffic jams in the Caldecott Tunnel coming across the bridge, of people coming here to this arena to watch this style of play and this brand of basketball and the players in the Cal program. I have a vision of greatness with Cal basketball, and I could not be more excited to be here today. Thank you so much.